Welcome back to Inside the Huddle. I'm your host, David Igono. I'm joined by former linebacker, Mountaineers, Scott Gyorko, former cornerback, Willie Edwards, former linebacker, JT Thomas. So before we jump into Kansas, let's do the player of the week for this week. We'll start off with Willie because I know he has a special player this week.
I mean, it's kind of obvious. You got to go with Kevin White. And the guy's been productive since game one. And like I said before, he's a nightmare matchup for any corner to try to cover a guy that big. Catches everything. Actually, I saw him drop a couple of there, which kind of shocked me. But when he has 13 yards and receiving 6 receptions, that's a great day. So Kevin White's my guy.
It's actually 132 yards.
Thank you.
Even better. Even better.
32.
Mine's across from him. I'm going with Mario Alford. He has four receptions, 80 yards, and the 94-yard touchdown kickoff return. He actually leads the nation in return yards.
I'll echo Willie's sentiment and say Kevin White. I think Kevin has an opportunity to be very special here real soon. If I'm not mistaken, he may have an opportunity to have this 6 consecutive 100-yard game. That will be an opportunity for him to be real special in West Virginia history. So my guy will be Kevin White for this past performance.
For me, I'm going to go completely out of my comfort zone. Josh Lambert. I mean, maybe Holgerson will talk to him now. He's saving them points. He's saving the game. Honestly, if he doesn't make those field goals, scores 21-14. I remember predicting, was it 24-17 or something like that? He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. He's a kicker. He doesn't have to do a lot. He just has to make kicks.
Right. Well, kickers are kind of weird anyway. So I'm standing on the sideline at the game on Saturday, and the game's going on, and he walks by. And I guess he goes to the restroom, and I'm thinking, man, what if we need to go out for an extra point out here to try to kick a field goal? He just bebops around and comes back, and I was thinking, okay. But, for the most part, the kickers that I played with, they're a little on the strange side sometimes, and that's great. You got O'Toole with the
boom stab.
So, those guys are a little, they're on a different page most times than most football players. But he did a great job Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you don't want to give him credit because it might go to his head. But like you said, his head is already, most kickers are already out there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the game, brief recap. I mean, all I can think of honestly is Gladiator. Right. First couple scenes where he throws the sword into the stands and he says, "Are you entertained?" I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. Are we entertained? Was this game sufficient?
Well, I think we expected this sort of game. In fact, I think everybody here predicted that we would win at the very least by at least 2 touchdowns. So we kind of expected that we were going to do what we did. Although we want to continue to get better. I mean, I think Coach Holgerson knew that it was going to be important for us to win this game and go in Texas Tech with a win.
The thing that gets me is I predicted us to win big, at least 4 touchdowns. I think is what I said last week, and it could have gone that way had we not lost a couple fumbles and muffed a punt. Could have got those couple extra possessions. But the thing is, we came out early, got up on them 26-0 at the halftime, and then put it in cruise control. I'd still like to see our offense and defense come out in the second half and finish the games. That's going to hurt us down the road if we can't continue.
Right. I'll go back to the red zone again. We were in the red zone 8 times and only scored 1 touchdown. I think we had 3 field goals. So, again, against good teams, and it showed before, when you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns. You can't keep kicking field goals, especially if you get behind. So I think we still got to work on our red zone offense a little bit. I'm not sure what we can do to get better at it, but we got to do a better job statistically as far as red zone offense.
Well, let's talk about balance. This is the first game, 6 games in, that we have a 100-yard rusher. On one hand, that's awesome. On the other hand, it was only 113. I mean, no disrespect to Kansas, they're a similar opponent in our conference. But we could have done a whole lot better.
Right.
I think the offense is always going to put up yards.
Right.
Well, if you look at, I don't think Clint was as sharp as he has been since game 1. He had some passes that were, errant, some high, some low, and he kind of missed some guys. So I don't know if it was a point where the guys were looking at Kansas saying, we know we got this one, so we just take a walk in the park and we'll win this ball game. You always want to be sharp when you're playing. No matter who you're playing, you want to play your best game and come out and jump on them quick, especially with a team like Kansas that was having some turmoil within the organization. So I think I don't know if we had the right mindset. We didn't approach it correctly. Anytime you play, it doesn't matter if you're playing the #1 team in the country or the last team in the country, you want to come out and play your brand of ball and come out quick and come out fast and continue that, like Scotty said, in the second half, come out and continue playing that way.
Well, the thing about Clint Trickett, he was still 20 of 35 for over 300 yards. It's something that's never been done in West Virginia history. He has 6 300-plus yards games in a row. That's never happened before in West Virginia history. And throw in the touchdown to Kevin White. And our offense is putting up a ton of yards, as you said, 550 some or something like that. And to point out the rushing attack, we only had 113 rushing by one back, but we had 250 plus yards rushing total. So our offense is putting up yards. It's just like you said, Will, we need to get in the end zone with touchdowns instead of field goals.
Even more so, we gotta focus on being a balanced team. I mean, going into this part of the season around this time, we got to start pulling together in terms of being balanced, being a team that knows its potential and reaching our potential when we get the chance to.
Yeah, and 6 targets, or not 6 targets, but Kevin White needs to catch the ball more than six times a game. He's your playmaker. We got to get him more involved than what he already is.
Yeah, I mean, one quick point on Clint Trickett. Every time I watch a game, my #1 concern with the offense is Clint Trickett's frame. Okay, because he's slinging, but if he gets hit, things change drastically. But when he threw that pick and he came up and he tackled the guy who picked him up, I was like, okay, he's not worried about it, so I need to stop worrying about it as somebody who's watching the game. Let's be somewhat constructively critical. The offense, is it just as simple as not finishing? This game should have been done and dusted. Skylar Howard should have came in beginning of the third quarter, or William Kress. Let's be honest. Is it details? Is it focus? Is it just putting on cruise control? What is it?
Well, I think this game it was turnovers. We were getting ready, going down in the red zone. We had a fumble, then of course the muff punt by Jordan Thompson. These things can't happen. We talk about it every week, is turnover margin, and it seems like we're always on the losing end of it. This game was easily a blowout, and it was still a cruise victory, and we just got to correct these things moving forward.
And I think it's a concern for everybody. I think the coaches know. I think the players know. They want to get better. There's no doubt in my mind that these guys want to be better at. Well, as I always say, Coach Holder say 3 sides of the ball. They got to be good on all 3 sides of the ball. And I think the way they bounced back after muffing that punt with Mario going 100 yards for the score just kind of speaks to the fact that they want to get better in the special teams play.
Yep. Okay.
Now let's talk about the defense now. I said it last week, and I watched it last week. Defense is fine. They played Kansas. Kansas's offense. Honestly, the 4 of us could lead their offense probably in statistical categories. It seemed like. What's your guys' grade for the defense? Is this just one of those games where it's more like a snowball effect? Don't put too much into it, but it's rolling in the right direction, or is this like an aberration? Is this like a mirage? Starts off JT.
Well, I think it's more so a snowball effect in the sense that we're getting better. This defense was getting better. I saw some guys step up. Wes Tonkley had a great game, I thought, and I thought Nick came in and certainly was impactful.
Kwiatkowski?
Yes, I thought it was a game where the defense felt that they could have been better, and they will be better. Going into the next opponent, I think our guys are just ready to continue getting after it.
Well, one thing I noticed, and I read it online, was that our defense is 3rd in the country in 3 and outs and getting off the field, which by watching the game, you really would expect that. But they are 10th in the country in 3 and outs, so that's a place you can start in. Yeah. I thought the defensive front played well, a lot better than what they have in the past, and it shows when they play well. The linebackers can play well, so now they can play downhill and play over top and run and make tackles. And Nick Kwiatkowski is a He's a man child.
Doing
You know,
it.
that guy just makes tackles left and right. It's amazing how he can shoot gaps and hit the ball carrier from different angles. And I tell you what, he solidified the defense by being in the middle and playing the way he's playing, and also is making the guys around him better. So now the offense, when they see, you know, when they game plan, they got to say, all right, you know, we got to make sure we know what 35 is at. So next thing you know, Wes Tonkin's coming up and he's making a lot of plays. So when your front three in a 3-3 stack is playing well, it makes it easier for the guys on the back end to play well.
A few things here. Grading, I'm going to give it an A, not a plus or a minus, but an A. I mean, anytime you hold an offense to less than 200 yards total,
Right.
you're doing your job.
Right.
And also, they had 14 punts. Defense
that's
forced
right.
14 punts, which is a Big 12
Get off the
and
field.
Mountaineer Field record, getting off the field. Great job. No turnovers, however. I'd like to see us, when we're tackling, try to get the ball out a little bit. But other than that, I think the defense played really well. They did switch up the front a little bit. We went to a faster front with the DN. I can't remember. Muldrow came in, played pretty well. Stayed off the stat sheet, but played really well. Moving forward into the Big 12 with all these air attack, offenses, we're going to need that rush. And hopefully the other linebackers can keep the running attack in
check. They
check.
and
Yeah.
that's exactly what they got to do. They will. I mean, I think we've been very, very effective in terms of getting better at stopping the run and being able to get in pass coverage when we need to.
Right. Well, like you said, Scott, we're getting into the Big 12 portion of our schedule, and you're not going to see teams like Alabama's going to line up and punch you in the mouth and run the ball at
You're not
you.
going to see too many pro eye.
No, you're not going to see too many
Formations
running
are
backs
gone.
like the
Yeah.
kid from Oklahoma. He was he was a very good back. We're going to see guys that are going to spread you out and throw the ball over the field. So now it's going to come down to our defensive line. Like you said, we got to get some pressure on the quarterback. We can't give a guy any time to stand back there and just sling the ball all over the field. So we're going to have to bring blitzes from all kind of angles, from different areas, from the outside, inside, and get that quarterback. Don't let him get settled in there and go through his progressions. 1, 2, 3, and then coming back to 1. By that time, that's not good for a secondary. Somebody's going to eventually get open. So our front eight is going to have to play well, and for us to do well in the Big 12 coming up in the next few games.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mountaineer special teams. I mean,
Highs and lows.
It's a love-hate relationship.
love-hate relationship? Okay, let's start with love then. What do we love?
We love the fact that Mario Alford can take the ball 100 yards at any given moment, and he's a threat to do that. I mean, I would say that would probably be the bonus for us, the fact that we got a guy that can potentially take it 100 yards.
The hate part of it, our punt return. We got to do a better job of fielding the ball. Now, and a lot of heat is coming down on Coach DeForest when it comes to that situation, but eventually you got to put some onus on the players.
Yeah,
He's not out there catching the punt.
This is week 6.
Right.
This isn't Alabama and Atlanta. This is week 6 now.
Right. So, there's some things that he can do as far as, scheme-wise, but when we keep putting the ball on the ground like that, it's eventually going to come back and it's going to hurt us. And, fortunately, we were playing Kansas and it didn't, but in a big game, that can hurt you when you can't field punts. I mean, even if not, I tell kids that I coach in high school all the time, there's nothing wrong with fair catching the ball. There's no, you're not going to get fussed at. We got possession of the ball. So I'd like to see us, get some more fair catches and just take control of the ball on our punt returns, and that will put us in a better position, because you hate it, again, like I said, that you just come off the field on defense and next thing you know, sudden change and you got to run back out on the field with the ball inside your 20. Yeah, that's not a good feeling. So I think we can do a better job of fielding punts and just putting us in a better position on offense.
Yeah, my love-hate is obviously Mario Alford and Josh Lambert's 4 field goals, and the loan on Josh Lambert's was how I couldn't tell you picked him for player of the game or whoever. Was that you?
Oh, that was me. I went with Lambo. Give him 1 bone this season.
The blocked field goal wouldn't have made it through the line on a peewee team. I mean, I thought that hit our guard butt cheek, but other than that one there, I mean, protection seems to be holding up well on the punt team. I mean, other than the muff punts and the turnovers, I think special teams is almost there.
They're getting there.
They're almost there, but
Almost doesn't help you win games. Yeah.
So, I mean, one thing I'm thinking about, why can't we get whatever happened to the jet sweep in this offense? Just as a changeup. I mean, Alford is running past guys. I mean, it opens up. Anytime you have that amount of speed on an edge, you make the defense think. And let's be honest, we're all defensive guys. You make us think, you might win. You know, a couple times. You know, but as far as the kicker, punter, O'Toole, Lambert. You know what? They're doing their job.
Yes.
We can't really complain about anything. I mean, I agree with the field goal attempt. But our coverage teams and our blocking, you know what? It needs to come around fast.
Right.
It needs to come around fast.
Well, the deal is it's going to be the difference between winning and losing a big game, you know, and that special team don't want to be on the end of losing a big game, you know. That's the thing that that I'm more worried about than anything is us being in a tight game and it comes down to a special team play that causes us to not walk out of there with a victory.
Well, that's what I said last week. These two games, Kansas, Texas Tech, I thought we should win. We did win Kansas big here. Well, marginally big enough. And Texas Tech, even though we have not beaten them yet, we haven't beaten them yet at all.
I didn't know that.
Let's go there. Let's go there. So this is what, pupil versus teacher. You know, samurai samurai versus ninja. Whatever. Cliff Kingsbury versus Dana Holgerson. You know what? Let's be candid. This game is very, very important.
Absolutely.
This game is the difference between possibly playing in a bowl game such as the Alamo Bowl or better, or playing the Cactus Bowl.
Right.
Okay. Like what needs to happen this game for the Mountaineers? Is it just details? Is it focus?
I think that's accurate. That's accurate to say. But the good thing about it, I think we got them at the right time. I think they're going this 2-3, 2-3 right now. So right now we got them at the right time, and we have to go to Lubbock and be ready to play. And in the midst of all that ruckus that will be going on, because anytime we play Texas Tech, it's always been like that. So it's a combination of everything you said.
This is another revenge game. We know what happened last time we went into Lubbock and got our butts handed to us very handedly. Very handedly. And that's when we had Gino and Tavon and everyone putting up yards and everything like we're doing this year.
Yeah.
It could be a trap game, but it is. We need to pay attention to details, get out early, make a statement in that first or second possession, and roll from there.
I think that if you look at it, both offenses are very similar. Eerily similar as far as, you know, the quarterbacks, Davis Webb and Clint Trickett, their numbers are very similar as far as, you know, how many yards they have. You know, Davis Webb, he's 140 completions on 225 attempts and 1,600 yards, 62% completion rating. You look at Clint Trickett, he's attempted 210, he has 1,900 yards, about 300 more yards, but, you know, 69.5% completion rate. Now, Davis Webb has thrown 10 interceptions. Clint Trickett has only thrown 4. So I think if, like I said before, defensively we can get to this guy and rattle him a little bit, he may throw some errant balls and give us a chance to get some turnovers, and that helps you on the road. When you can get some turnovers and get up on them quick and get them, you know, behind the 8 ball, so to speak, then it helps the team when they're traveling into a hostile situation.
Which team shows up? I mean, go ahead, Scott. But which team shows up? The team that is, I mean, one of the top offenses and one of the most, let's just say it, average to slightly above average defenses?
Well, I don't think they're going to be able to stop our offense. I mean, this is another game where our rushing and passing gets, you know, 200 yards rushing, 350 yards passing. There's no way that they're going to be able to stop us unless the tornadoes happen again this time. But I think our offense is better suited this year. I think we have a little bit more confidence in where we're at as a team on offense and making a statement with the running attack. I think the first series we need to divvy it up 50-50, run, pass, get them not guessing on what we need to do.
Well, we need to take advantage of that young defense they got. I think it was said that their defense was kind of like our offense from last year in terms of being young, and I think they're currently ranked 112th right now in defense.
Like what, 120, right?
Right. Yeah.
Just
but that bodes well for our offense. You know, the fact that they're not as ready as we think we can go in there and steal one. I'm hoping that we can go in there and steal one this upcoming Saturday.
Well, I think it'll be up to our coaching staff to keep these guys focused, especially if you come off a game and you played a Kansas team that was, below average, and kids played pretty well, but we still need to get those guys to take it to another level. And a lot of that comes with the coaches during the week, keeping these guys focused and letting them know, look, and I'm pretty sure any team you set goals before the season starts, so hopefully they set some goals, and this is just another roadblock to us getting to our goals that we've set this season. And you got to remind those guys, look, we can't take any days off, we can't take any plays off. This is the next game. We got to go 1-0 next Saturday. So you can't look forward and you can't think about what happened behind you. So you just got to concentrate on that one game. And hopefully our coaching staff, and I'm pretty sure they are, doing a great job of keeping these guys focused on the task at hand.
So my last question, and this is actually a multi-layered question, is, I said it last week, I'm going to keep being the big bad wolf on this. WVU has struggled against equals. Okay, when I say equals, I mean teams that have a high-powered offense or teams that have a good defense.
Very similar.
What needs to happen this week? Are we going to play down? Are we going to play down to Texas Tech? Are we going to have another 54 to 46 type of game? What do we want to see as former players, as guys who know what it's like, to go on the road and know that you're going to be fighting for 60 minutes?
Like I said before, you got to go out and create turnovers. If you can go out and create turnovers early and get on the board and jump on them quick, puts them down in their mind, that helps a team out a lot. We got to create more turnovers on defense. Like I said, I looked at statistics. We don't have many turnovers on defense. Hardly any, actually. But I think maybe one or two. We have 2 interceptions, no cause fumbles. And, for a college team to have no cause fumbles, that's not very good. We got to put our hat on the ball, rip the ball out, create turnovers for us to get our ball, because we have a high-powered offense like we've talked about for the past couple of weeks. But if we're not getting the ball to them more often by creating turnovers, that's not going to help us at all.
Well, I think they're going to put up yards as well. I think it's just managing when we get off the field on defense, whether we do a 3-and-out or get a pick or a turnover or something that way. I think we're going to give up yards. I think we just need to stay true to our reads, stay in the game. I mean, we're going to get their best game. I mean, they're not going to want to get embarrassed like they did last week. So they're going to come out fighting, and we just need to rise to the occasion, be the more physical team early, and show them that it's going to be our game.
I think it's a two-pronged type of answer in terms of the defense got to show up and play big, and I think Kevin White has to demand football. I think because offensively, I think he's coming into his own. I think he's getting more comfortable. I think if playing a big game like that down in a Big 12 game on the road, and he has a big game and he demands the football and he goes up there and play good football, I think we'll find out what type of team we have.
Well, in college, offensive guys, receivers, you can't really demand the ball. It has to be up to Shannon Dawson and Coach Hoganson to get him the ball. So I agree with you.
You demand it by catching it. All you got to do is
he's already done that the first 6 games. Right. I mean, he's leading the country.
And he's getting more. In fact,
right. But Saturday, 6 catches, 6 touches.
Right.
If he's your go-to guy and he's your man, which he is, he's a man on the field. Right. You got to get the ball to him.
I agree. Now we didn't get it to him enough, but I thought they tend to throw the ball his way more. And I'd like to see them do that even more. I think he's starting to deserve those type of attention. He's starting to get deserve that kind of attention.
You don't want to be one-dimensional with him.
No.
You got other guys, Mario Alford, which I know he's one of your favorites. You got to get the ball to him to kill shows. We got to develop other players. So if they double team Kevin White, and we're not used to it, and you want to get Clint Trickett so used to throwing the ball to Kevin White, and you look his way and he's not open. Now you panic. Okay, what do I do now? You want to develop other receivers so that when you get in a bind when he's not open, you feel comfortable throwing it to those guys. I would like to see him throw the ball to him more in the red zone. That's just my thing.
Let's be honest. We're going into week 7. Okay, outside of Mario Alford and Kevin White, who has stepped up and gotten open. I'm not saying that, to be critical. I'm just saying this is the point of the season where you go with what works.
Right.
Your playbook might be 2 plays. If those 2 plays are getting you 35 points a week, you go with those 2 plays.
You got to kill Schwartz. He's coming in there and making some plays. Jordan Thompson has a few receptions, and Wendell Smallwood, I think, can still come in here and catch some swing passes or whatever. But I really think the key to this game is our front line on defense. First and second downs, getting them, third and long, third and mid, third to long, make them pass, and that's, like you said, he's had 10 interceptions, so maybe we can capitalize on a few mistakes if we, rush a couple blitzes off the corners.
Yeah, I think our secondary we have to get picks. I don't think we have we had a pick since Worley left?
Worley, yes.
Yeah, so that was what?
Top 3 had one.
Yeah,
we're talking about the back half.
Yeah, hey, that's when you just go like this. But all things being considered, we're going up against a high-octane offense. They're putting the ball up all the time. We have to have one of those in a West Virginia secondary's hands. At least 2.
I would say more than 1, definitely. If you're going to put the ball in there that many times, you got to get your hands on at least 2 or 3 times.
And Daryl Worley is practicing since Sunday, so maybe he is able to come back. Maybe he's in good graces with the Coach Hogerson and be able to play, and that just provides another star athlete in the back.
Actually, I saw him on the sidelines in the sweat, so I was kind of shocked when he walked by. I did a double take because I was thinking, man, they probably wouldn't allow him on campus anymore, but I'm not sure his situation. We might have to dig into that a little bit and try to find something out, but it'd be nice to have him back.
Yeah, I really think. And then if the weather holds out and isn't pouring down the rain, I think this is another 2-touchdown victory for the Mountaineers, at least 45-31. I think it's a high-scoring game.
Have you not learned anything? So 45-31 at least.
You didn't learn anything.
We're doing predictions. Let's go across the board. I'll go last.
I'll start off. I've already got mine out there. I'm predicting another high-scoring game for the Mountaineers. I just don't think that their young defense is going to be able to stop our offense, and I think we put up a lot of yards and a lot of points here and stop the naysayers in the red zone over here. But score big, and then I'm not sure if they're going to get 31 or not, but I expect them at least 24. Just because they're rating back and forth that it's going to be.
I suspect it to be between a touchdown. I think it's 21-14. I think, and the big thing, I guess the thing that's disconcerting for me is not being a very good second half team. That's the thing for me that gives me a little. I feel like we're gonna win the game, but with regard to the spread, I think by a touchdown, if that, because I just want to see us do more in the second half of the football game.
Great point. We haven't been a very good second half team, and you got to play 2 halves to win a football game. You can't come out and smoke them in the first half and come out in the second half and lay an egg.
We just did that against Kansas.
But that's Kansas, though. When you play against good football teams, you can't do that. You can do it against Kansas.
Hey, they might do it this week.
Right.
They might get away with it.
They could.
They could, but how many times you want to spin that revolver and play Russian roulette?
I'm right there with you. But what's your prediction?
I'm saying we win by 10, maybe 14.
You guys.
That's my prediction. You're asking. You're not ready for the answer,
We should have kept a tally at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we should. Okay, it's my turn. I'm just going to be honest. This is going to be an ugly game. I don't even know about points, but this is going to be a game of mistakes. So we might as well count whoever turns over the ball the most is probably going to lose by 21 points. Wow. I just think this game, when you look at both teams, they're both struggling with finishing or even showing up. Right. Okay, and then you have a deal with Texas Tech, where you know what? Let's be real. They figured out the WVU defense the past couple of years.
Right.
They have it figured out. I'm not saying that in doubt of the WVU defense, but I'm just saying that this might be one of those games where it's going to come down to Norwood making fair catch calls. It's going to come down to Nick O'Toole
I'm going to jump in and stop you because you're
run 3-3-5.
rushing us. We switched defenses 3-3-5.
3-3-5
So
now.
we're
Well,
off on that a little bit. Our turnover margin, we're in the hole 7-8. So you're predicting us to lose by 3 touchdowns here.
I'm not predicting a loss per se. What I'm saying is that this is going to be an ugly game. I mean, we talked last week. We thought that we'd bring out the road grade, just complete steamroll Jayhawks. What happened? Same details not being fixed. So you're going on the road against a team that, you know what, they're going to put up yards. I mean, maybe not points, but they're going to put up yards. That sounds very familiar. That's what we do. We put up yards. We're not putting up points. We're not finishing drives. Defenses, honestly, it's whoever makes turnovers. That's who's going to win this game.
Right.
So as a score, I'm gonna say 35-28.
Yeah.
35-28, and honestly, I'm expecting OT this weekend, simply because there's a lot on the line, and
Absolutely.
Cliff Kingsbury knows how to break down a defense. He didn't show it last week, but he knows how to break it down.
Is it?
Okay.
Hey,
We're on time to our opinion.
Fair enough. Well, check back on thedpost.com for more updates, and thank you for watching.